With that, I am going to introduce our director, Mr. Patrick Eakes.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks so much. Love that video. I didn't know it was coming up this month, but that was fantastic. And that reminds me to thank the three folks who put this together each month. Cookie Billings, who gets us all organized and planned. Chris Justice, our host. Sean Patty, who we never see, but who is always in the background doing tech. Thank you, all three, for your planning and your production each month. I really appreciate that. Usually at this point, I'll give some type of report on Rotary International Board of Directors and things going on there, but this is perhaps our quietest time of year. During the month of July, we, of course, have seated a new board. The executive committee has met, once over the last month, but not too much to report there. So I'll move on from that. I will mention, and some of you are aware of this, that the Rotary International Nominating Committee is meeting today to select the 2027-2028 International President. So sometime later today, you'll probably see some white smoke go up and your social media will start buzzing and all that kind of stuff. So the in-person interviews and deliberations will take place today. So it's always exciting, and looking forward to finding out who will be slated to follow Sanku as our president. Want to just mention, and you'll hear more about this later, I'm really excited about our Zone Summit in Jacksonville. That's coming up quickly. And our general chair, Marcy Ullum, is on the call, and she'll have a few more details later on, but I couldn't go through this without mentioning it because I'm very excited about it. So we'll turn to the main topic for today. August is membership month in Rotary, but of course, every month needs to be membership month in Rotary because it's our biggest challenge. There's no doubt about that. And the reason I say that, the numbers for 2024, 2025 just became available toward the end of last week. Zone 33 had a loss of 600 Rotarians. That's a net loss of 600 Rotarians, almost 2%. I think that's 1.8%. Zone 34 had a net loss of 584 Rotarians. I think that's 1.9%, basically 2%. So you can just think about that, and you might think, out of 100 Rotarians, 2 of them are not still around. You know, for some, they'd say that's within their pain threshold. But let me put it to you another way. Across the US, Canada, and Caribbean, we had a net loss of 2.3%. That's 6,000, almost 6,800 Rotarians who are no longer with us. And if you look at the US, Canada, and Caribbean over the last 9 years, go back to July 1st of 2016, it's a net loss is 70,208 Rotarians. 20% of us are no longer around. So I realize that's a lot of doom and gloom, but I think it's important that we understand and that we're reminded the importance of membership, because, you know, our members are what make this organization go. It's who supports the Rotary Foundation. It's who tells our stories. It's who gets the work done. So we continue to face real challenges when it comes to membership. There are some bright spots to share with you. District 6910 has just completed 4 straight years of net growth. Each of the last 4 years, they have grown. And that's by a total of 237 net members. And that is just tremendous. There is not another district that I know of that's even had 2 years of straight growth, meaning the last 2 years. So 6910 has really done well. Very, very happy about that. Also want to point out District 7600 last year added 9 new clubs, and they finished the year plus 97 members, right at 100, which is just incredible output for 1 year. District 7610, just to the north of 7600, was also at plus 54 members last year. So I think there's 2 districts that were added 50 to 100 members each, and District 6910 with 237 members over the last 4 years, they've shown us what can be done. So it just reminds us we have to work intentionally and relentlessly on membership. And you're going to hear some more about that as we go through today's program. Promise it won't be all doom and gloom. I think they hired me to deliver the bad news up front, so you can hear the good stuff later. And speaking of good stuff, I want to yield a little bit of the time I would normally take to talk a bit about the Zones 33-34 Communications Action Plan, or CAP, as we call it. The chair since the inception of CAP has been Marshall Butler, who of course is our Rotary International Director-elect, my successor, the much upgraded version of Director. And I'm going to yield a bit of my time to Marshall and let him give us an update on CAP. Go ahead, Marshall.
Thank you, Patrick, for giving me a few minutes. I did want to share with you all 3 quick Communications Action Plan updates. Our web team, which is chaired by Caroline Blockinger, successfully migrated our zone website last week. Formerly, it was at rizones3334.org. It's now at rotaryzones3334.org. This allows us to have a consistent domain across and also the same as all of our social media channels. So if you want to find Rotary Zones 3334, it's the same everywhere, 3334.org or Rotary Zones 3334 on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you have any bookmarks for the old website, they will still work. The domain, she created all the redirects, so everything should have migrated seamlessly. Appreciate the web team's efforts on that. Another item that I wanted to mention about Communications Action Plan is we'll be sending out an email to every single Rotarian in Rotary Zones 33 and 34 later this week. We're going to invite them to opt in to a membership, foundation, or public image group, as well as a general group to announce events like this one, the ZoomFormation. So depending on what folks want to hear, the kind of email, the kind of information and communications they want to receive, we're giving everyone the chance to opt in. We're only going to send out this one email to every Rotarian across Rotary Zones 33 and 34 to opt in, but we believe that this is going to ensure that we're only sending emails to people that want to hear based on their preferences, because we want to eliminate noise for folks that may not want to hear from public image or foundation. So we're trying to streamline a lot of our communications. Lastly, Patrick mentioned that I have been the chair of the Communications Action Plan since the very inception. I love this initiative and I will continue to support. However, based on some new responsibilities that I have coming up, I'm thrilled to announce that Haresh Ramchandani will be the new chair of the Communications Action Plan going forward. We're excited to have Haresh as the chair, and I believe that the best is yet to come. So congratulations, Haresh. Thank you for chairing the Communications Action Plan, and look forward to seeing the great success this team continues to have. Coming right back at you, Patrick. Thanks for that opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Marshall, and thank you for all of the work that you have put into that Communications Action Plan. Even before we formally recognized it as a regional action plan, you were doing great work and really formed the template, the basis for our other regional action plans across our zones and now across the world. So very, very excited about the work you've done. Very excited to see how Haresh will lead this team going forward. And we will hear more about that next month in our ZoomFormation call in September, much more about the Communications Action Plan. So we're going to move on to the main program now. As I said, this is membership month. We're going to talk a good bit about membership. And first up today will be Mary Ligon, who is the Rotary Membership Coordinator. That is a new term if you're not familiar with that. It used to be Rotary Coordinator, is now Rotary Membership Coordinator for Zone 34, and also a key member of the MAP team. Beyond that, she's my friend, and I'm glad about that. So Mary, take it away.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, slide thing, here we go. Thank you, Patrick. Membership does matter. You know, we need goals and plans to be successful. We've talked about that in the past. And those plans need to include engagement, attraction, and new pathways for membership into Rotary. I'm going to talk about our product, a member's experience we build and offer to current and prospective members. So we all know that every club is different. Each club has their own culture, which has been created intentionally or maybe unintentionally. Culture is created by the interactions of the members with one another, the club activities, policies, and practices. For example, you may be in a club that's really focused on service, but another club may be really in thinking about networking. Or you may be in a club that has a real diverse group age-wise of members. Other clubs maybe lean toward younger or older. Either is fine, all good. Some clubs really focus on one or two big projects. Maybe they have a significant or a signature fundraiser they do every year. Other clubs are focused on smaller projects, maybe things they do in a club meeting, and they do lots of them. None of that is wrong. It just shows that, like every club, is different. And that culture is created by the combination of those things. Do you know what your club's culture is? And was it created intentionally, or has it just evolved sporadically? Does everyone in your club perceive it the same way that you do? So then we begin to talk about the club elements. We've talked about this now for the last couple of years, what's involved. We've recognized that just as every club's culture is distinct, every club member's experience is unique to them. We can see this in survey responses. Some folks like the programs and others not so much. There's always at least one person who hates the food. But a lot of times it may not be great, but it's no big deal. Some do want to do tons of projects, and others want to do everything in a club meeting hour. So what is key to a member's experience is understanding what matters to them. What are their interests and expectations for their investment of time and money to be a member? For prospective members, we learn these things during events such as Discover Rotary or new member orientation. When we know what our members want, we can design the club experience to fulfill their interests and expectations. So I tell this anecdote several times, so I apologize if you've already heard it. But several years ago, when the Membership Success Center first came out and had the survey tool, we used that survey in my club. And I thought I knew what the answer would be when it asked, why do members join Rotary and why do members stay in Rotary? You know, we've heard that all along from Rotary International. They join for the networking, they stay for the service. Well, our survey results were different. They joined for the networking and they stayed for the networking. Well, as we dug into that a little bit more, what we began to understand was over time, the membership had changed, and we were like many clubs. We make a big do when somebody's inducted into the club and they give a classification talk or, you know, introduce themselves, tell something about their profession and their family or whatever. But never do the new club members hear from the old club members who've been around a while. So we changed it up and we did what you might call classification talks, or we did them 3 at a time so that every member in the club cycled through talking about their membership, why they joined Rotary, why they stayed, what they do, that whole deal. And that was a result of the survey. Now it's going to be interesting. We've done another one. We'll see have things changed or What's new that might be an opportunity that we learned from the survey of how we can better deliver a club experience that meets the members' interests and needs. And as we've talked about before, that club experience is made up of 5 different elements. We've talked and we've done MAP seminars, webinars on the club elements around enjoyable meetings, confidence in club leadership, personal growth opportunities, strong connections, and meaningful service. These elements are how we engage members and meet their expectations. So designing club experiences to meet this variety and what is of interest to your members is key to enhancing engagement. So I have 2 questions for you. As a current or previous district leader, or maybe a current or previous club member, has your club done a member survey recently and are using it to address what members want? In other words, as district folks, are you setting an example for your clubs? And then secondly, how are you supporting clubs in your district to enhance their members' experience so that they have or develop a club culture that enhances engagement and attracts others to join their club? Now, my colleague, Chris Justice, has some thoughts on how to attract prospective members. Chris, over to you.
Thanks so much, Mary. I appreciate that and definitely appreciate your comments. All extremely well taken and valuable. And I love that, you ended with a call to action. Because when I started developing this, I was trying to put myself into the shoes of, the audience. And, this audience is mostly comprised of, very seasoned Rotarians, Rotarians that have, been district governors or been, upper level leadership in their districts and Rotary at large. So why are we talking to you about this basic stuff? And the reason is because you are difference makers. You are the movers and shakers in your districts, and you can still make a huge impact at the district and club level. And that's really what this call to action is all about. I want to be really candid about my experience with Discover Rotary. I was a late convert to this topic, and I'm going to be perfectly honest about that. The first time that I saw it explained and presented, I think there were some technical challenges. Unfortunately, it was during COVID, and I was hearing about it over a Zoom meeting. The Zoom meeting was glitchy, and I really just tuned it out. And I didn't circle back around to it for some time. I kept hearing about it here and there, so I finally gave it another look, really at the behest of our district membership chair at the time in 7690, John Spillman. He continued to talk about it. And so I really, it's like, okay, maybe this is viable and something that I should be paying attention to. And wow, what I discovered after doing some of these and attending some of these was that it really is the #1 attraction tool. The conversion rate is absolutely ridiculously high. When I think anybody that's dealt with sales, the 10-3-1 rule, right? You have, 10 folks that, you may touch in some capacity. 3 of them maybe are going to become prospects, and you're going to convert that to 1 customer. My experience with Discover Rotary is way, way higher than that. I'm seeing north of 70% if you can get them in the room. In other words, if you can get them at a Discover Rotary event, you're going to convert about 70% of them if it's done well. And the thing is that it's relatively easy to produce and deliver these programs. So let me advance the slide here. All right. So the keys to success, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the key to success is district support. And that's where you all in this audience can be a big help. you can provide guidance on how to run a successful event. One thing that we're really pushing districts to support their clubs with is removing any perceived barrier to doing this or to doing Discover Rotaries. And one of those things is just a very practical step, right? It's the slide deck. It's producing the visual media to actually show at the Discovery or the Discover Rotary event. And then there's the lack of seasoned presenters. You know, you can't expect, you know, a club to necessarily in-house this if they don't have the personnel that can do it. So one thing that we're asking district support with, and where you guys can be instrumental, is provide those seasoned presenters who can assist with the presentation portion of it. So really, it can be a club and district team effort where the club works on the logistics, they get the venue, the district can support with developing the AV side of things and that all-important slide deck, and to provide the seasoned presenters. So I'm not going to do an entire Discover Rotary because of the time constraints, but I do want to, you know, run through quickly the slideshow that we've presented here, or that we've been presenting in 7690, and it's been adopted in quite a few other districts. So, all right, something popped up in chat. Sorry. All right, so leafing through it. We make this template extremely customizable. Okay, so obviously here, this is all stock. You just enter your club name and you're off and running. The way I like to present is that I like to tell a personal story about how I got involved in Rotary. And I'm not going to do that at this juncture in this meeting, but this is my slide for that portion of it. So that's extremely customizable. Then we have slides that are just Rotary specific. So we've got our objectives slide, a couple of great quotes here. I do tend to spend a little bit of time on the history of Rotary, not a ton, but then, we also talk about our core values and working together. And obviously we have the 4-way test in there. Talk about our Rotary Foundation. I think this is a really important element in our Discover Rotary presentations, is to address the foundation. Also spend quite a bit of time on the polio story. I think this slide does a pretty excellent job of providing the sort of a visual framework for that story. But it's a really cool piece to put in to talk about Big Rotary. And then I tell a personal story about my why and why I've stayed in Rotary and how, Rotary has impacted on my community. So then you wrap it up with some district specific stuff and some club specific stuff. Now, this particular slide, half of it, you do it at the beginning of the year and it's good to go to distribute to clubs. The right-hand side is very easy to customize for the club that you're building it for. And then this next slide, this one is all about the club specifics. And as you can see, there are simply 4 pictures and then a list of some of the important things that this particular club does. So again, extremely easy to customize this particular slide, and something that the district can support clubs with without a lot of heavy lifting. All right, and then you end it with, what can Rotary do for you? And it's okay to talk about that, right? That's why people are there. They are going to give to the community, but it's also okay for them to take away from the experience. So you can spend a minute or so on that particular piece. And then finally, I end it with a couple of my favorite Paul Harris quotes. All right, and then we finalize it with the next steps and questions. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good overview. We have a couple of preferred templates that are on the Zones 3334 website. We definitely ask, and the call to action for this particular segment is, please go to your districts and your district membership teams and volunteer to be the seasoned presenter for these Discover Rotary events. volunteer to help with the slideshows, because you guys have so much passion, wealth of knowledge, all the things that can make this particular initiative a success. And it is the #1 attraction tool. So let's make sure we use it. Now we are going to talk about really the third prong, which is going to be club creation. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Jones and Patrick Longano.
Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate the information that you just shared, and thank you for the introduction for the North American Club Creation Team. I look forward to talking to you all about this a little bit. And to give you a little background and some history, this whole North American Club Creation Team started when Patrick Eakes and I were the OGs of the ICA movement back in 2020. And during this time, thanks to past or previous Rotary Rotary membership officer, Audley Knight, he found Patrick Longano kind of out there in the woods creating this new idea around new clubs. And Patrick was then promoting what we all know now as an impact club. Well, from the impact club model came the companion club model, and with a focus on building out our existing clubs, with a satellite club model that would build the existing club and not spin off on their own. And over the last 5 years, we've opened more than 200 companion clubs globally in this unofficial status. Well, at the beginning of this calendar year, at the beginning of 2025, Patrick Longano and I presented a proposal to RI membership director Brian King and the North American directors to move forward with creating a team of club creation specialists. And these folks have a passion and a skill to help Rotary open new clubs of all kinds: standalone, companion, impact clubs, satellite, Rotaract, Interact, you name it, we can do it. We have a team of 28 highly skilled professionals across North America to help our clubs and districts open these new clubs. And the program is fully backed by all of our North American directors. So in Calgary, we announced this movement to a breakout session of more than 750 people at the RI convention. And since then, we've had more than 60% of the attendees download the Club Creation app, and we're now helping those to bring their dreams into reality by chartering these new clubs, and several have already reached that point. So to tell us more, let me introduce my friend, Club Creation Team co-founder and new club visionary, Patrick Longano. Patrick.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Patrick, are you still there? We can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any movement on his audio.
No, I'm here. I'm here. But when I was on my phone, it wasn't listed as a co-host, so we're good to go. Much appreciated, everybody. I am here. I'm just going to go ahead and do it on my thing instead of my phone, since I need to share with you guys some really, really cool information. As you know, Chris was saying that we've been developing clubs, all over the world for the past 5 or 6 years. There's a lot of people on this call who have helped us do that. We got a great person on the call that we were able to help do 5 clubs this year, doing the following this process along. But what we've done is we've developed an app to help to make the process universal. You go to one place, you know how to do it, and like Chris said, it will work for Rotary clubs, Rotaract clubs, companions, satellites, Interact clubs, anything that you need to do. And I'd like to go ahead and show it to you guys right now, if you don't mind. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to show it on my desktop. So that's good news, guys, is that you'll be able to not only do it on the app, but you'll be able to do it on the desktop as well. I'll show you in the breakout session the way to go ahead and get the app downloaded and how you can get registered for the use of the desktop app. So once they do it, it's just 4 simple steps. It's not a 9-step process. It's not a 10-step process. It's a 4-step process. Actually, what we really decided to keep saying is it's a 3 steps in a party. So when they first come in, our step 1 is basically a conversation and going over the app and how things are going to progress, and really finding out from you guys what exactly you need for what you're dreaming for your club. Step 2 is cultivation and construction. It's exactly what we were just talking about, what you dreamt for your club, but actually constructing it and overcoming objections, any objections that you might have from leadership in your club or leadership in your district about what type of club you're trying to form, and we get you prepared for a board vote. In this section here, if there is anything that needs to be done, it will be there. When they click onto that, you will have the ability to see all of the forms that you might need. So say you might need some bylaw language, it will be in there and you can download it. If you need language for club constitution, it will be in there. If it's a standalone Rotary club, it will have information on those. It's specific to the club type that you choose that you want to do in step 1. All the necessary information that you might need to do this is in there. So you only have to go to one spot. You don't have to go searching for it all over the place. Step 3 is when it really gets interesting, because this gets unlocked and a button will appear. It says send application and invitation. And I'm glad Chris Justice went over Discover Rotaries. I absolutely love Discover Rotary. First time I had heard about it was Sandy down in South Carolina. She's awesome at it. Wanted to imagine if you're there and you want to talk to some people, all you have to do to get an application out to somebody is your first name, their last name, their email, and your phone number. And you can send the application right from here, or you can add to contacts without sending. And the reason why that's important, guys, is over here, right next to the cogwheel up in the top right-hand corner. You can go ahead and click onto that right now, and it takes 1 second to pull up because it's actually pulling up a live document. And you can see here that I've sent out 4 applications and 2 have come back, and those are indicated by the green check marks. But look at this rascal right here. Patrick Longano has not returned his application yet. So what do? You click onto that real quick, and you can send a reminder email, send a reminder text, or since Patrick doesn't read his emails, you can click call contact, and right from your phone, just call contact, and it will dial them right then and there. And you can tell them, hey guys, I'm trying to get this application in. Can you go ahead and do it? So that's a really good follow-up system for that. One of the other things, but I told you that I showed you, is if you just add to contact. So say you're at that Discover Rotary event, and as people are coming in, you're just getting their name, email address, first name, last name, email address, and phone number. So you can capture the contact information. And then when they're ready, oh, look, Amelia Stansel's there. She wants to join. So now I can go ahead and pull her up and send the application out via email or text right then and there. And it will pull her over into this section right here that we've sent that out. And the reason why that's important, everybody, is because in the charter and celebration portion of it is actually the forms that the new club charter form in the exact way that it needs to do. And I can show you that on the app in the breakout session, but it actually fills out the paperwork necessary for Rotary International. So you're not having to do the paperwork. So clubs want to do this. They just, having to go here and there and everywhere, or not knowing, or not, having that one-on-one with the team. Sometimes it's a little difficult. One of the things that you'll be able to see as well up here in the cogwheel, if you are in an area, because zone 33 and 34 spans, a great bit of our globe. And we do have a lot of clubs down in the islands. So if they want to do that, they can go ahead and click on that. And we have all but 2 of the Rotary supported languages on here. So it will instantly go ahead and change it. You got French, Dutch, Japanese, I mean, everything, but this will help a lot in zone 34 with the islands that are there. Also, you'll be able to give access if you're in your club via club access code. So only one person doesn't have to do that. The person who's monitoring it, who's the rep for the club, will go ahead and just give access codes out to their club members, and so that they can send applications and send reminders out for the people that they're recruiting at the time. So that is an absolute game changer right there. And then we're going to have a breakout session here pretty shortly. And I'd love to show you how you guys can get on the app. We do have, for all those people that are district level, like DGs, AG, district governor-elect and that sort of thing, membership chairs, we do have special access on the back end here, so you can know instantly what's going on and have the communication with your clubs. You'll know exactly what's going on in their club creation journey. So we're just here as a tool to help the wonderful RMCs, Chris and Mary, as just another tool in the tool belt to walk people through the club creation process. And we are a tool of the district governors to help. I know that we would welcome anybody like membership chairs, anybody like that, to walk the process through with the clubs as we do them, so that they can learn and we can build a deeper bench in doing it this way. So I want to thank Patrick and Chris and Mary and everybody else for having me on. And we look forward to seeing you in the breakout room. And we've got the QR codes and everything else for you to get signed up.
Patrick, thanks for doing that great demo on the app. And it's now time to turn this over to our chair of the upcoming Zone Summit in Jacksonville. And it's my second favorite GELS trainer ever, Marcy Ullum.
Well, thanks, Chris. I can always count on an interesting introduction from you. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I am shocked that we are already into August. And August 7th is right around the corner. And what does that mean? That means that registration for this year's Zone Summit with RI Director Patrick Eakes convening will be closed. Zone Summit is a little bit earlier than it has been in the past, but nevertheless, we've got a great program lined up for you, and I am here to invite you for a weekend of inspiration, innovation, and intentional connection. So I'm going to tell you a little specifics because Marshall, RIDE, Marshall, and his program committee have put together an excellent program. In addition to trustee and past RI president, our own Stephanie Urchik will be joining us, as well as Deputy General Secretary Michelle Berg. Those of you who are UF folks, we'll be having Patrick Young as our kickoff speaker on Thursday evening. Patrick is a former UF basketball player and serves now as a motivational speaker. He, because of a spinal cord injury, knows what it's like to get up every day and still make a difference. He has a very motivating story. We were talking earlier about golf. Andy White's the Chief Marketing Officer for the PGA Tour will be addressing us. One of my favorites who I'm looking forward to is Angela Tenbrook, who is a global leader in sustainable agriculture and economic development, not only locally in the state of Florida, but she has worked around the world in climate smart agriculture, agroponics, and regenerative food systems. And in 2021, she was honored as Florida's Woman of the Year in Agriculture. As a gal who grew up on a farm, I am very excited that she's going to be joining us. We have Hamza Shenberry, the Director of Innovation at Haskell, where he leads digital transformation in the construction industry. And if you haven't seen the connection with these speakers and others, the program team focused on what are people doing that's innovative, creative, and changing and responding to change. So it's exactly where our Rotary clubs are. We need to be more innovative. We need to be we need to be responding to the change that's come up, and we need to be more creative. Shark Tank is back with 3 incredible projects to pitch. So add to that workshops: AI, human trafficking, disaster relief, public speaking, and learning how to build membership through new club creation that you just heard about. You'll get the in-depth with Chris and Patrick. You've got a chock full agenda of speakers that are there to inspire, motivate, and more importantly, give you actionable information you can take back to your districts. But what's a Rotary event without a little bit of fun? So last year, as you remember, we had the Mad Hatter Tea Party. This year, it's going to be Willy Wonka Tea Party. There will be golden tickets and chocolate involved. A craft beer tasting event. Yes, we are providing transportation. A joint class dinner with games, entertainment, and competition. And Ellen Blasi is on this call, and anybody who knows her, since Ellen is actually coordinating this, you know it's going to be a fun night. We'll have a dueling pianos night where Rich Cooper and Marshall Butler have promised to dance, so stay tuned for that. This year, our House of Friendship is really bursting at the seams with some really new and unusual vendors. And Joy Klein, who's our arrangements chair, and Eric Gordon, who is the House of Friendship chair, are adding a few interesting twists. For those of you from Florida, think ice cream. We'll have a 0K fun run. No, you don't have to start training now. It'll be really easy. There will be donuts at the end. It'll be to support polio. So be looking for this information once you've registered. And we're very proud that we have partnered with Rethread for our service project. It's a nonprofit who provides services and support for women who have been involved in who have been trafficked. You're going to hear from the CEO and founder and have an opportunity to tour their business. This is also an opportunity for you all to clean out your closets. We're asking you to bring any old, torn, stained, too small, too large, too embarrassing, can't wear that wherever I am, t-shirts to the summit, because Rethread will use these in multiple ways to really support their efforts. For example, the lanyards that we're using at the summit will be made by Rethread. But more importantly, this is really your chance to stay relevant. Now, we all know the district governor line has to attend, or we tell them they have to attend. They need to attend, right? But for past district governors, it's really different. You don't have to. It's a choice. You should think about this as an opportunity. So this is my message to past district governors who have not yet registered. This is your opportunity to stay engaged, to stay relevant, to stay up to date and in sync with the Rotary of tomorrow. Don't think of the P as past. Think of it as purposeful or present or progress making. Your experience is invaluable to your district. The fact that you come to these ZoomFormations underscores how you still want to be involved and knowledgeable with what's happening. So join us, if you haven't already, to be inspired and refreshed. Registration ends Thursday, and the hotel block closes August 10th, which is Sunday, I believe. So we look forward to seeing you in Jacksonville. And Chris J., back to you.
Awesome stuff, Marcy. Thank you so much for that. All right, we're going to get you out to breakouts here in just a couple of minutes, but we want to share some upcoming events right around the corner. That's tomorrow, Tuesday, August 5th at 5 o'clock. We have our Innovative Club Advocate call. That's for Zone 33, but of course, anybody's willing or able to attend that. MAP webinar next week, Monday, August 11th. As always, that one's at 5:30 p.m. We're talking about igniting new clubs. Our Foundation Matters call. This one's coming up a little bit later in the month, August 21st. That's going to be a Thursday at 6 o'clock. And of course, our always popular public image webinars, Tuesday, August 26th at 6 p.m. I've actually heard Whitney speak before. She is awesome on this topic of storytelling, so that one's a can't miss. And we have our Currents of Creativity coming up September 10th through the 14th, as Marcy so adequately explained. We appreciate that promo, Marcy. And as always, stay connected with all of our social channels that you see right here. Okay, so we're going to get you out to breakouts. The way this is going to work, the way it's supposed to work, is when I press go, you are going to be able to choose from 4 different breakout rooms today. That's going to be meeting with the RMCs. That's going to be Mary and myself. You can meet with the club creation team. That's going to be Chris Jones and Patrick Langano. If you have some more burning questions about the Jacksonville Summit, Marcy is going to meet with you in her breakout. And then, as always, you can visit with the Rotary International Director, Patrick Eakes. So I'm going to go ahead and open those up. You should see the ability to choose a room and go to that room. If not, our friend Sean Patty is going to be hanging back in the lobby to try to get you out to those rooms. Those will close automatically. No reason to come back here. We're getting about a minute late start, so these will close out automatically. Well, 2 minutes now. So right at 2:02 or 1:02. All right, so opening rooms now. Off you go.